welcome to another exciting episode. I am your host, hip hop engineer, Kay Malcolm. Friends, today we are joined by Nicole. She's a super big deal, James. Nicole is a vice president of product management here at Oracle. You guys thought that I had a lot of energy? Listen, I have met my match. The internet streets say that Nicole is a change agent. She's an innovator who builds effective, diverse teams and drives excellent results. To know Nicole is to recognize, have you ever felt that when you're in the presence of excellence and you feel like you gotta straighten your shirt and be on point? You guys gotta get to know Nicole, and that's what we're going to do today. Nicole James, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Kay. I'm happy to be on the show.
So Nicole, you and I recently did a show. It was our first show, if you remember, with Oracle's Able ERG on Imposter Syndrome.
Yes, I remember.
Imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. It was a term coined in 1978. This was something interesting. I didn't actually know this, where the impact of systemic racism, classism, and other biases were typically absent. Now, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts by Brene Brown. Brene, in this podcast, Dare to Lead, talked about in a Harvard Business Review article on imposter syndrome. And the title of it was, Stop Telling Women They Have Imposter Syndrome. So Nicole, you know we're about to get messy.
Bring it on. I'm ready for it.
Okay. All right. Now, according to the article, that term, imposter syndrome, and its use puts the blame on individuals without accounting for the historical and cultural context. Now, what they said was that it directs our view towards fixing women at work instead of fixing the places where women work. What are your thoughts around imposter syndrome? Is it a real thing? What do you think about it?
Interesting. Okay, so here we go. So I think that imposter syndrome is real. However, I feel like imposter syndrome is for everyone, not just for males, not just for females, not just for any race, not just for any age group. To me, it basically boils down to self-doubt. And when I think about it, who hasn't had self-doubt at some point in your career or in your life?
Everybody.
Yeah, right. So for me, I think that imposter syndrome is real, but I think it's common for everyone, admittedly or not.
It's actually the same opinion that I have because, see, imposter syndrome, it gets placed on women. And it's like saying, you don't actually belong. We're making a space for you. Or even more dangerous, you're taking a space away from, apologies for being, gender descriptive, but taking a space away from a man who otherwise would occupy the space. So thank you for that answer.
Sure.
Now, Oracle was recently included on Forbes' 2021 list of America's best employers for diversity. And Nicole, so it's so funny when I talk to people who maybe, their only experience with me is on social media or LinkedIn, and they're like, hey, you're doing a lot in your diversity role. What? I'm on the tech side. I'm an electrical engineer. I don't have a diversity role. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but we all should do this work because it's human work, right? Everyone should care about diversity and balance and increasing innovation. And I don't just care about this because I'm a Black woman. I care about it because I'm a human. So what I want to explore with you, how do you navigate being a computer scientist, a product manager, a woman in leadership, who is a woman of color? Do you still feel these feelings of self-doubt?
Yeah. So in my response, I'm going to flip this a little bit because I want to share something with you that I recently learned, but it is relatable to the question that you asked.
Share it. I'm ready.
So I would agree. I am a computer scientist. I call myself a software chick.
Yes, software chick. I gotta get you a t-shirt. I like that.
I am a corporate leader. I am a mother, and I am, a wife, right? So I'm much more, than just, my corporate persona.
Yeah.
As I constantly want to learn and evolve, I recently came across a article on a pet to threat phenomena, penned by Dr. Keisha Thomas. And it's really saying that you're early in your career, or you could be new in a role, and in that that stage, you are very much encouraged and you're admired by your peers. They're eager to see what you can bring to the table, especially as a leader.
Okay.
And really, in that position, you can do no wrong. Then, over a course of time, the people that were your supporters and your cheerleaders, as you become more and more confident and understanding of the organization, and you want to influence change, for instance,
yes,
or you become more vocal, or you even question the status quo, then there becomes a flip, right? And you become a threat. And it's interesting because I've had this in my career, but I didn't know what to name it. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was soul searching myself to say, well, where did I go wrong?
Is it you? Did I do something?
Right. Yeah. And then I realized, it wasn't really me. It was the perception of the folks around me that, they were thinking like, well, who is she to have this viewpoint? Who is she that she wants us to change what we're doing? Who made her the boss? Those types of attitudes. And you can see, in your workplace, from alienation to, just people being frustrated with you, being short with you, or it could even come through in a professional review, some type of review about your performance. So it was very interesting. And to me, I found that this was more pivotal in my life than actually imposter syndrome. This has happened to me more times than my doubts or self-doubt and imposter syndrome.
So piggybacking on the pet to threat, right? Because once you're in this situation where you are cultivated, you're mentored, there are women who are looking at you, Nicole, vice president, product management, a woman in tech, and they're looking to get into leadership roles. So for women who are trying to navigate that journey and get those promotions, do you have any advice for them?
I do. So anytime I get a chance to go before women and give advice along these lines, I would say there are three things that you need to keep in the forefront.
Okay. We
as women need to have a plan. We need to write down our plan. What do you want to do with your life? What is your roadmap for your life? And it doesn't even have to always be just personally. Professionally, what is your roadmap? Where do you want to end up, in your career? Map it out, write it down, make it plain so that you understand. The second thing is, I would say, you have to do the work, right? So you have to show up to work every day.
Yes.
And what that looks like is being true to yourself, right? Know that there's no slacking off. There's not an opportunity to slack off. We have to be our best selves at all time. And it means bringing everything that you have to whatever you're doing. So you have to do the work. And I think the third thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is you have to own your voice. You have to be able to speak up. You have to be able to ask the questions, right? So, I really feel like if I don't ask, I will never know. So I ask questions all the time. I'm very curious, right? And you have to keep asking until you are able to achieve the goals that you're going towards. Ask for what you want, be it salary, be it position, be it managing other folks. Ask what it takes to do that role. Ask what it takes to be promoted. Ask what it takes to be considered, and then take those and put it into your plan and do the work, so it's very cyclical.
Owning your voice, using your voice, having the courage to ask questions is so powerful. One of the things that struck me when we first talked, and it's something that when I'm mentoring men, women, doesn't matter, anyone, for certain genders, there is a tendency to end in a question, even if you're not asking a question. So owning your voice, speaking with confidence, I love it because that is absolutely 100% spot on.
And if I may, I didn't start with owning my voice. I didn't start with knowing how to ask for what I wanted. I started out wanting to just work, put my head down and just work as hard as I could, right? And I was even a person that said, I don't want any glory. I don't want any attention. I just want to be behind the scene. I want to be like the wizard, right? The Wizard of Oz. And you're just, you are the puppet master and you're just creating everything behind the scenes. And I didn't want any credit for it.
Why?
Because I didn't think that I needed the accolades, right? I don't need people to say, oh, great job, and know that I did it. I'm more about getting the work done and having a good solution, a good product, and solving the problems. What I soon realized was that everybody has a purpose, right? And my purpose was to be out front. My purpose is to speak. My purpose is to have a seat at the table. My purpose is to be that voice, right, for folks who are voiceless right now. And so, and I don't know when I made that term, maybe, I don't know, like, something just, a light bulb went off one day and I realized I'm not going to be in the back anymore. I'm going to get credit for everything I'm doing, And so I think you have to grow to that. But if you are not aware of what you're doing, you'll never be able to aspire there. So hopefully this is, as I share my story, it's helpful to others.
I love that. You're your own advocate. And when I end the show, usually I say, be your own advocate. That's it. Friends, she's her own advocate and you should be your own advocate too. Okay, so tell me about product management. Can you explain to our viewers and our listeners what a product manager does and why that role is important to Oracle?
So first and foremost, I must say that I am so passionate about product management. And the reason why is because it is very customer centric. So if you like to speak to different people, if you like to speak to customers, then this may be a role for you, right? If you're able to solve problems or are curious about solving problems for other people. So in product management, we listen to the problems of the customers, and then we really define a vision and a strategy to meet their needs via solutions. And it's really important, right? Because you need folks to be the visionaries, to be the innovators. And that's what the role is all about. From a business perspective, solving problems and meeting the needs and driving value and benefits for the customer.
I love it. Now, can you tell them, our listeners, what is Oracle Service Cloud and how is it disrupting the industry?
We've realized that customers want to be taken care of more than anything. So we want to be able to go forward with a strategy that we call digital first service. And in that, we have three things that we want to emphasize. We want to emphasize predictability, being unique, and hyper convenient. So we want to be radical in our thinking and really take care of the customer. So that's what we're doing. And that's what we mean by customer experience service.
Now, there is someone, Nicole, who, they're kind of feeling down. And they need a note of encouragement. So pretend like you've got a sticky note and tell me, what one word would you put on that sticky note to encourage her or him?
So the one word that I think would be the most encouraging would be perseverance, right? If you think about a time in your life where you faced like something that was so painful to you that you couldn't recover from, at a point in my life, I was a junior in college and I happened to be home for the weekend and my father was called out to work. Well, he never returned home. There was an accident on the job and he passed away. It was something that was extreme pain and something that I couldn't even fathom. But in the midst of that, I realized that life had to go on for me, right? I had to help my mother. I had to help my siblings. And I had to, it was important for me to finish school. So in that moment, I determined that I was going to overcome this. I had to deal with it and understand that pain, but I was going to overcome it. And I'm sharing this to say with you, no matter what, and I say this my whole entire life, no matter what anybody says to me or what anybody says about me or, whatever the challenge is, there's nothing that's going to be greater than what broke me, in that time period.
And you persevered.
And I persevered, right? And so I want to challenge everybody to dig deep, find what moves you, and understand. And I want to encourage you to understand that everybody, I believe, is made for greatness. And it's just a matter of you accepting that greatness for your life.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really important. So persevere. You can do it. So I just want to encourage everybody.
You, my friend, are magic. And I know that I learned a lot from what you said: grit, perseverance, owning your voice. And I'm grateful for all of the tips. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back, watch it, and take some notes. And I have a feeling that you've got lots more to say. So we're going to have you on the show again.
Anytime, Kay, anytime.
Right. I'm so appreciative and I know how busy you are. So very grateful. You guys want more? Don't forget, I ask you guys this every single show. I need you to hit the subscribe button so when new episodes drop, you're notified. Make sure that you follow Nicole on LinkedIn. She is at Nicole James. And follow me on any of my outlets listed below. Remember to be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Be your own advocate. Nicole talked about why that's so important. Maintain an authentic brand that is you and you alone. Take care of yourself and each other. This is Lashes.Love.Tech signing off until next time. Love and hugs. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
We're going to have you dance next time, I promise. You're going to do it. Bye, friends.
Bye.